Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, as of course we are going to be reviewing Barcelona against Atletico Madrid, which today ended 1-0 at the Camp Nou. Lionel Messi once again inspiring us to the victory, and we'll be discussing whether or not this is now La Liga confirmed. Is this the title coming back to Barcelona once again? We are now 8 points clear at the top of La Liga after this huge victory against Atletico at the Camp Nou this afternoon. 11 games to go in the league. 8 points is the gap. Is that now enough? Is this a very big moment in the league season? And of course, a lot of things happened in the game. I think it was a game which certainly started with us in the ascendancy. Everything we spoke about in the preview about coming out and being bold, about being brave, being confident. That's exactly the way that we started. And credit to Ernesto Valverde. The lineup that he picked, I think, was personally a pretty good one. I personally, like I said in the preview, would have gone with Dembele over Coutinho, but it worked out quite well in the end, simply because Coutinho started out on that right-hand side, which I don't really like him. I would rather see him in his natural left role. He loves playing on the left-hand side because he loves to cut in on that right foot, and you know what he can do in those kind of ranges. But he did start on the right-hand side. Other than that, it was a very strong team, of course, our best 11, if you like. And like I say, we did start the game with some really good intensity. You could clearly see the players are up for it. There was over 90,000 people inside the Camp Nou today, so a really good atmosphere as well. And that's everything that we needed for this kind of game, because Atletico Madrid came, I think Simeone in his team selection for Atletico was very reserved once again. He went with Koke and Saul. They were packing the middle of the pitch like we spoke about in the preview. We allowed the wing areas, Jordi Alba was very influential down that left hand side. Sergio Roberto as well was allowed a lot of space as well on that right hand side, and Coutinho did play well in the opening exchanges. He lost the ball a few times in the first 2 minutes, but he got to grips with things very quickly, considering the nature of the game, that he's never really played against Simeone or Atletico Madrid in this way before. So he certainly adapted himself to the game. And of course, though, there was one man which on the day you always look to, you always think, if there's one man that can make this happen, it's Lionel Messi. And once again, he stands highest, he stands tallest, and it was an absolutely sublime goal. There's no other way of looking at this than a world-class player and a world-class finish. He gets the ball from the free kick just past the 25-minute mark. At that point in the game, we were certainly in the ascendancy. We were certainly pressing Atletico Madrid. We were working them very hard. Atletico in that first half barely got out of their own half. We played really well in that first half. But Lionel Messi, free kick given away by Thomas Partey. Messi lines it up. And you've got to remember here, this is not Messi against some average goalkeeper. This is Messi against Jan Oblak, one of the best goalkeepers without any doubt in the world. And it was a sublime strike. Really outstanding effort. Messi whips it over the wall. It's got enough curl on it, enough whip on it to get it up and over the wall past Jan Oblak, who just about gets a fingertip to it, but he can't stop it. There's too much power on it, there's too much swerve, and it's a wonderful goal. And of course, in the end, that is the moment that decided this game. That one flick of that left foot from Lionel Messi, that has decided the game, and may well have decided the title. But as the game went on, of course, 36 minutes gone, we were forced into our first substitution of the game. Not really one that we wanted to go through, but Iniesta had basically gone down earlier in the game. He went up, he jumped for a ball, he headed it away, and then he landed very hardly. It really hit him quite hard when he hit the floor. There was a bit of a problem with his hip, but as the game went on, he still sort of struggled. He was trying to stay on, he was trying to play it out, but he has now gone off. He went off the pitch, of course, and they're now going to be taking him for tests on that injury, which apparently is in his leg. So we're going to have to wait and see what comes of that, but I really hope that it was more of a precaution with Iniesta, and hopefully nothing serious, of course, with that Chelsea game looming very largely. Andre Gomez was the man that was trusted with coming on. Valverde, of course, had the likes of Paulinho, Andre Gomez. He could have brought Dembele on. Quite easily you could have brought Dembele on, because what you could have done then was basically what he did anyway. He put Coutinho on the left hand side where he should be anyway, and then he put Gomez on the right hand side. You could have introduced Dembele at that stage in the game, but as we had the lead, Valverde showing some caution, he decided to bring on Gomez, who I think overall didn't really cover himself in glory. Again, there was a few times where the Camp Nou crowd was actually getting on his back, and Valverde at one point, I think the way they sort of interpreted it on the TV cameras, he seemed to motion to the crowd to say, come on, get behind Gomez. But the crowd very frustrated with some moments where Gomez was taking too long on the ball. He was taking too many touches. He wasn't releasing the ball when there was people in better areas. And I just want to talk about the second half, because obviously the result is fantastic. We've done really well here in getting Atletico Madrid to the Camp Nou, getting past them, winning the game, and putting 8 points between ourselves and them in the La Liga title race. And like I say, I think now that is the title confirmed. I don't think Atletico Madrid are going to come back from that. Real Madrid are far away. We should definitely now win the league with this kind of gap, with this little time to go. But I just want to talk about the second half performance, because I think there's a very big difference between what we showed in the first half and the sort of mentality, if you like, that we showed in the second half. Because for me, there was a complete drop-off in our form in that second half. And there's a big reason for that, I think. The mentality right now of Barcelona, I understand that Atletico Madrid are very tough opponents, but at the same time, it's always been the Barcelona way that attack is the best form of defence. We have never been a team that have been 1-0 up and we thought, you know what, that's fine. We're going to sit back now, we're going to defend, we're going to absorb. You would certainly associate that kind of mentality with Atletico Madrid because they're very much a defensive-minded team. They've got a defensive-minded coach. That's the way they play. But Barcelona, we have always strived upon going forward, getting another goal, seeing the game off by way of scoring again, or at least having the ball, posing a threat. But today in that second half for me, we completely sat back. We completely let Atletico Madrid come into the game. You had Simeone on the Atletico bench. You know, he brought on Angel Correa, he brought on Gamero, he brought on attacking changes, trying to change things for Atletico Madrid, and they certainly got themselves back in the game. And I was sort of waiting for Ernesto Valverde to change something, to do something to sort of alter the stem of the game, because it was clear for everybody to see really that Atletico Madrid were coming into it. They were certainly getting closer and closer to our goal. They were putting more balls in the box, they were getting more set pieces, and I think at the end, to be honest, we were quite lucky to escape this game with the win. I think we deserved it in the way that we played, certainly in that first half, but you've got to remember, Atletico Madrid in that second half, they had a goal disallowed. It was just a very fractional offside with Diego Costa, which I think was a very, very good decision, but we were lucky that we got away with that one, and Atletico Madrid were just coming into the game, but they just lacked that final end product, and luckily for us, they didn't get it. But I wasn't happy with the way that we just let them back in the game, that we just sat off, that intensity that we showed in the first half, we wasn't able to maintain that. And that's the thing about it, because the intensity we showed in the first half, because of what that takes out of you as a player, likewise, it's usual that you can't really replicate that over a 90-minute period. That's why you have to make the right changes. And I think once again, in that second half, we didn't really do that. You've got Piqué hobbling around the pitch. I think he's really right now not fit. He's been playing through the pain barrier for week upon week upon week. We have to start getting him to have some rest. We must rest him completely to get him back to full fitness. It's not fair on Piqué, it's not fair on the team to keep forcing him to play, even though he's clearly got a problem with his knee. And then in the 84th minute, we bring on Paulinho for Coutinho, which says to me, that's it. We're happy, sit back. The final 6 or 7 minutes now, we're just going to be in our own half. We're not going to have the ball. And that's exactly what happened. You know, it was all over to Atletico then to see what they could do. And I just worry, you know, in a big Champions League game, maybe against Chelsea, if we take the lead in that game, are we going to do the same thing? Are we just going to sit back and we're just going to wait for something to happen? Luckily today, nothing did. But I just think the more adventurous sub, the more courageous sub would have been Dembele. Why has he been left on the bench for the full 90 minutes? Once again, not a single minute for Dembele. And it's not just about this game. Why did then he not play against Las Palmas? If you had no intention of playing him in this game, why didn't you at least start against Las Palmas and we could have got the win there and once again been even further ahead in La Liga? I just don't really understand the decision today, especially with the way the game went, because Atletico Madrid, like we spoke about in the preview video, in that second half, they came out, they were pressing us, they were bringing on more attack-minded players. There was opportunities there to counter, there was opportunities there to really break and expose the spaces they were leaving him behind, but we had nobody there to do it. Suarez ran his heart out, he really, really did. There was nothing more that he could have done, and as the game went on, he was tiring. The same goes for Messi. He was somebody today who was really closing players down. He was working really, really hard, and in those latter stages, we had nobody there who was capable of countering. I think the sub would have been, take off Coutinho, bring on Dembele. Coutinho, as the game went on, it was his first big game with this intensity. He, of course, tired a little bit, and then we could have brought on Dembele. Fresh pair of legs, somebody who could get in behind and get that killer goal. Like I say, I'm very, very happy with the fact that we won this game 1-0. It's a massive win. It's a fantastic result. We're going to wrap up La Liga, and we're all overjoyed about it. But I just think in the way that we managed that second half, looking forward more than anything else, we have to make sure that we keep that level of intensity, and if not, just change some things to keep that going. Just make a few tweaks, make a few changes, make a few subs, just to keep that kind of spirit going, just to keep it ticking over, because if not, you leave yourself open, like we did in that second half. If Atletico Madrid would have had that decision go their way, it would have been 1-0, and it would have been a completely different outlook on this game. So I think it's really, really important that we just make sure that we're doing the right things, that we're bringing on the right players, and I just don't know what's going to happen with Dembele. I don't know where Valverde sees him, whether he doesn't trust in him, whether he doesn't like him. I honestly don't know the situation, but I just hope in the games leading up to Chelsea now, we see more of Dembele. This is a guy that we spent 100 plus say 50 million on in add-ons from Dortmund. We want to be seeing him play. We want to be seeing him on the pitch. When is that going to start happening? So that is basically where where we were at today against Atletico Madrid. Very, very good in the first half. A good team selection, a very good start to the game in the way we played, a phenomenal goal from Lionel Messi, and 3 massive, massive points against our direct rivals in La Liga. But looking to the future, we need to start seeing where Dembele fits, how we're going to approach games. Are we going to continue to be a team that maybe go on the defensive once we take the lead, or are we going to play the Barça way and go for more? Go for the jugular, go for that killer blow. Please do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. What did you think of the game? What did you think of our first half? What did you think of our second half? And what do you think, look into the future, with regard to Ousmane Dembele? I will see you very, very soon indeed with more videos. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça!